My name's Harold. I'm still working on building a copy of Mr. Pete's steam engine, and I've got just about got the block finished. And there's several pieces that are already, pretty well ready. And I figure maybe another couple of episodes, and I'll have the thing put together, unless I run into a whole bunch of trouble. Mr. Bozo is always following me around, and he loves to interfere. So you know how that goes. That'll slow you down some. I had this little story to tell you about a couple of brothers. It was Tommy and Billy, and Tommy was, sort of a sensitive young man, and Billy, he was the kind of guy. He was just real, frank and blunt about things. I guess you wanted to say he'd come right out and just tell you whatever's on his mind. But anyway, so Tommy had saved up his money, and he wanted to go spend the week down in Cancun. But he had a dog there, and he needed to take care of, so he talked Billy into taking care of his dog. And he laid out all kind of rules, how many times a day to walk him, and how far and where, and what the dog could eat and what the dog couldn't eat, and all that sort of thing. And Billy says, "All right, it's okay. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of your dog." So Tommy takes off for Cancun, and he's been gone, a little over a day, maybe 2 days. He calls home, and he's talking to his brother Billy there, and he says, "Well, Billy says, how's my dog Spot?" Billy says, "Oh," he says, he says, "I had the bedroom window open upstairs there." He says, "I was working on the screen, and a butterfly come in." He says, "Your dog jumped out the window after that butterfly and ran around on the roof, chased him, and he fell off of there and broke his neck." He says, "Your dog's dead." And there's just silence on the phone, Tommy says, "Billy," he says, "you're the most insensitive, crude person I believe I've ever talked to." He says, that was just horrible." He says, "You know how much I love that dog." And he says, "Just to come out and dump it on me like that, just all of a sudden, you know, without any kind of preparation," he says, that was just a horrible thing to do." He says, "You're going to have to learn to do better." And Billy says, "Well," he says, "I'm sorry." He says, I'll work on it, but I don't know what else I could have told you." And Tommy says, "Well," he says, "when I called your day, you could have told me that the dog jumped out there and is running around on the roof, and y'all hadn't been able to get him down yet, but you're working on it. And then when I call tomorrow, you could say, well, the dog fell off the roof and you've took him to the vet." And then I call the third day. He says, "You could tell me, well, the vet couldn't save him. Your dog's passed on." You understand how you can do this, and you break it to me kind of easy, a little bit at a time. Let me be prepared for it. Billy says, "Well, okay, all right." He says, I got it. I understand." Tommy says, "Oh, okay. How's Mom?" Billy says, "Well, Mom's out there on the roof." You know where that goes. Okay, now that the hole is drilled and reamed, which I almost forgot, got my cutoff tool right up against it there, and I know it's 90 thousandths thick, so we're gonna take this dial indicator and move over 90 thousandths, and then we'll start counting from there. All right, it's off. Next step, set it up and face off the other side. And you don't need to watch the setup. I tried to use a couple of parallels back there, but they weren't the right, whether they were laid on the side or edge, they weren't just exactly the right thickness. So instead I used this piece of half-inch tool steel, and it looks to me like I've got it pretty well tight and pretty well straight. So now we'll face off this end. If I can find the tool bit. Quick change tool is supposed to make it fast, huh? I guess it's fast if you know where the stuff's at. I'm not unlock the carriage here. Dropped my 1-inch micrometer on the floor. I checked it out. Thankfully it's still reading right, but that upset me a bit. Well, I had to set it up again because my tool got so close to the choke jaws until you couldn't have got a thought between them, and that made me nervous, especially considering us rednecks don't often have a thought. So I reset it up again using some other little thin pieces of tools, and that's as close to 1/4 inch as we're going to get. I'm pretty sure that's right on top of it. So I don't know if you saw what I was looking at, but anyway, next we'll have to drill a little hole in it, but I'll see what other lathe pieces I can work on first. The reamer for the valve in the cylinder block part won't be here till tomorrow evening, and today all the screws and taps and stuff from McMaster car are going to arrive. From what it cost, I could have bought a little steam engine, but then I couldn't have built it. The next piece is even smaller. It's .065, something like that, for the valve pin. So I was thinking maybe I ought to have a hole in the valve first before I make the pin for it. So and then I get to think, well, if I make the valve, I need to have the hole in the block for the valve before I do that. So now I've got to cast around, see what's the next part to work on, because the 1/4 inch reamer for the valve you bore in the block won't arrive until tomorrow afternoon. So now I got to go cast around and see what I can make next. This is frustrating. Now I got to find a 540 die off, so I can make the base for the thing. That's one thing that I don't need any choice that I don't have. The next step is to cut out the base. There's a little big though. Well, it's cut out, not really very square or straight edge, but I'll clean that up in the finishing of it. It's kind of beat up. I'll probably put the beat up part facing down and the nice part facing up. Well, I got it cut down. Let's do a little cleanup over here on this thing just to make it look nicer on the front. See how they're sticking out on the bend. I just got through saying that some of it's coming from McMaster car, and here it is. UPS brought it in, and after all this shipping and stuff for the little screws and things, I just discovered I should have ordered a 540. I think it is 540. Yeah, a 540 die, because that's what the 540 nut was for. I didn't really tumble to that right off. I was thinking about, why do I have a 540 nut? Just one, and it was because there's going to be a 540 thread to screw it on. So now I may think it over and figure out what else I can screw on there besides a 540, because I don't want to have to order this from McMaster car and get one little die. We'll see. You'll have to do some thinking again. Okay, the reamer, the last reamer has arrived from International Tool, or what the heck ever, and I've got this thing zeroed. At least it is now. And sideways a little bit. So install this reamer. Had to use the coaxial indicator to line the thing up. As you can see, it just barely clears right there. The only thing that's going to happen when I run this reamer in is that it's going to clean out the holes. So I'll come back and I'll do the reaming off camera. There was just almost a bozo there. I put that reamer in the chuck and noticed it wobbling around. The chuck's not really that good. So it dawned on me what I want to call it. So now we're nice and straight, and we're going to ream these guys using a collet instead of that drill. Not having a collet that could fit the small reamer, and not having a steady hand, I went ahead and put the small 1/4" reamer in the drill chuck, and it didn't wobble too bad, not like the 1/2" did. You can see they're bored into there. So the next step was a little deburring and cut this little guy out. I think what I'll do is I'll just sink an end mill into each corner of where I'm going to drop it and cut it out with a bandsaw a little bit. That could possibly make it a lot quicker than trying to mill all that metal out. Before getting all carried away, I went ahead and put the hole in there for the steam inlet, and I think now that that's all the holes that are going to come into this thing from the side, I'm probably about ready to cut out the shape of the block. I guess that's what you call it, the engine block. I decided to go ahead and bring my micrometer set out so I can use all of it. This is a set I bought at Sears back in the 70s, and we know that there's not some big Craftsman factory somewhere, so probably they're probably really made by Starrett or somebody like that. Everything made for anything's got the Craftsman name has been contracted out to somebody. Okay, so today we're going to take the body part of this thing. I've already took the bandsaw and cut out this little bit. That's what the holes are out there. This is the one that I messed up. This hole should have been in here, and then another small hole up here. So I redid this part all the way down to the part where we're ready to clean it out the extra metal and have the engine exposed as it's going to be exposed there, the engine block. I'll set up here and get a roughing end mill into here. I don't know if I really found the cutting the part out with the bandsaw to be any better than cutting it out with a roughing end mill. So when it's through, I'll tell you which one I like best. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough out this stuff between the marks that I've made, and I'll measure it here and there as I go along to see if I get close. I'll speed this up so you don't have to actually witness it all. Okay, now we can start to measure and see how things are going. Okay, maybe it's a bad thing, but off camera I went ahead and cut out that slot there that I started with a bandsaw. But I'll record the whole next step when I roll it over and cut out the other side. So, and then I'll probably fast forward some too. Alright, I'm going to cut 250 thousandths out each of these wires right out in the middle of it, I think. Okay, so here's the engine block. Back this thing out where you can see. There's the engine block, and it's so far it's sized pretty much right on with within a thousandth or so of the plan. The only thing I've got left to do are the chamfers, and I've got to get a different vise set up over there for that. Just one that'll lean over to 45 degrees, and I'll continue that in the next video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you can. And when you subscribe, click the little gear beside the subscribe button and tell it to notify you every time I upload something. Anyway, thanks. I'll see you guys in the next video.